Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series we're going to be going over the moon and the houses, okay? The moon and the houses. And in this episode we're going to be going over moon in the 5th house, okay? Moon in the 5th house. So, the first thing that's really interesting with the moon in the 5th house is that this is actually low-key an uncomfortable placement for the moon, okay? And this is because when we talk about the moon is this very intuitive, introverted energy. The moon represents our soul. It represents the energy we keep within, which is our emotions, you know, how we're feeling inside. When the moon is being put into the 5th house, which is the house of Leo, you know, this bright house where you're out and you're expressing yourself and you're putting yourself out there, this is very difficult for the moon because the moon is very introverted, okay? The moon comes out in the nighttime, you know, in the dark, in the shadows. The moon represents the darkness, the shadows, okay? This is everything hidden within. So when you put it out into this house where you're performing, you're expressing yourself, this can be an uncomfortable placement, okay, for moon. And this can almost look like exploitation, in a sense. But, one of the first things to know about moon in the 5th house is that people with this are going to be very emotional and deep about fun and leisure and things of that nature, which also includes romance, you know, and dating and sex and all those things that we do for fun as humans. This is the 5th house, so having your moon here, you're very emotional about it. You have a strong emotional connection to it. And it can be very deep for you. Now, people with moon in the 5th house, their families, they can come from families where it's all about fun, and just having fun and expressing yourself. The mother, okay, or the nurturer, which could have been the father too, whoever was the nurturer, could have nurtured them in a way where it's all about, you know, having fun and expressing yourself and being confident, you know, and showing yourself off, okay? So, you know, with people like that, they have such a strong connection to it because, you know, they come from very fun, nurturing families, okay, and people. So that's what they're used to, and that's what they consider nurturing, okay, fun and leisure. Also, people with moon in the 5th house, the moon representing your family, okay, your emotional development, which comes from your family because those are the first relationships that you form. You know, this could also manifest as someone who had to perform, you know, to gain love and attention from family. So you would get your nurturing, you would get your love, and that kind of emotional attention through performing. So if you expressed yourself and you performed and you tried to entertain your parents, you know, or your family, you'd get a lot of love and attention, okay? And you can create, again, this kind of relationship with performing and gaining love and attention back. And that's why I said that this can be an exploitive position as well too, because like I said, the moon is not naturally comfortable in the 5th house because the 5th house is ruled by Leo. It's the sun. The sun rules Leo. This is all about putting yourself out here. So when you have the moon, okay, you know, in this kind of like shell, it's like when you put it into a human being for experience, in order for them to gain love, they have to perform. They have to entertain you. And to have to do that to gain nurture, to feel comfortable is exploitive. Because you shouldn't have to do that, you know, to gain love and receive love. You know, you should receive that nurture, receive that emotional security through just your existence. You know, you shouldn't have to perform for it. And when you constantly have to do that, it can get tired. It can get very tiring, okay? It can just feel like you're doing too much, you know, for something that you deserve, you know? So that's why I said where the moon in the 5th house can also be exploitive because, like I said, you know, your emotional security, okay, which is, you know, your soul and all of that, shouldn't be developed through entertaining people, okay? and trying to receive that approval, okay? Because you're going to create that. This could be a position for like a child celebrity as well too, you know, feeling at home performing, okay? So your moon represents your emotions, what you feel the most emotional security, you know, where you feel at home, and you're doing it in the 5th house where you're performing, presenting. So people like this can feel very much at home performing, and that's what they're used to, okay? So again, you know, it could be very exploitive because that's not the right way to receive your emotional security. Yes, it's okay if, you know, you receive a lot of like praise and accolades, you know, for performing and for entertaining, but you shouldn't receive your emotional security, okay? The love you get from your family, the emotional security you get from your family through doing that. You should be getting that anyway, regardless. And that's why people say, you know, with child celebrities, it could be exploitive because, you know, they're developing this kind of like mentality where they have to perform to gain love and acceptance. And, you know, having a family like that pushes you, you know, into, you know, working, you know, when you have those stage dads and moms, you know, again, they're putting all your value, you know, and your worth in being a performer, and that's what you have to do. And that's how you're gaining their respect. That's how you're gaining their love. That's how you're gaining, you know, your sense of nurture through them. So that could be an issue, you know, with moon in the 5th house, okay? And this is what happens when you put your soul out there. You know, it could be too much. So moon in fire houses, it definitely could cause tension. Also, moon in the 5th house, people would really love to have kids, okay? The moon deals with nurture, okay? Family, okay? Wanting a family. And then you put it in the 5th house. The 5th house deals with entertainment, fun, and leisure, but it also deals with the youth, with children, with kids, because the 5th house is how we express ourselves, and our kids are a form of expression of ourselves. And also, kids are the youth. They represent that young, youthful energy, that energy of just having fun and being spirited. That is kids, you know, that's their energy of them. So that all coincides with the 5th house. So when you're putting the moon here, the nurturer, with the house of like kids and youth, yes, people with moon in the 5th house definitely like to have kids. They're definitely going to want to have kids. It's going to be something exciting for them because, you know, having your moon in your 5th house, you know, your parents could have made it very fun, you know, raising you. You know, their sense of nurture was having fun. So this positive energy, you know, is passed down to you. And a lot of people with moon in the 5th house want kids as well too, and want to raise them and have fun with them as well too. So that is a big aspect with moon in the 5th house. Also, with moon in the 5th house, fun and leisure can be a very emotional process and deep thing. And this goes back to what I said about moon being in the 5th house being exploitive, because when we have fun and we're having fun and we're dating and, you know, it's all leisure and all that type of stuff, it should be passionate because it's fun, but it shouldn't be so deep. It should be more lighthearted, okay? Because the 5th house, again, is ruled by Leo. This is a fiery house. So it should be more, you know, fire is hot, it's passionate, but it's not deep and heavy like water, you know? So when you're putting moon, which is your soul, your emotions, you know, something very deep in the house of like leisure and fun, something that should be more light. People with moon in the 5th house can be very emotional when it comes to fun and leisure. You know, it can be hard for them to have fun because it brings such strong emotions. Or having fun for them can just be so deep and so necessary because your moon represents your emotional needs and what you need, because this is what you've been nurtured through your family. You know, that every time you get into the process, it becomes an emotional experience, you know, a very deep emotional experience or something you desperately need all the time. And you can take these fun activities that are supposed to be lighthearted, okay? Because like I said, this is like the 5th house. It's supposed to be fun and lighthearted. And because your moon is here, you're taking these lighthearted things that should just be fun and leisure. You're taking it so deeply. So, you know, Moon in the 5th house, yes, you can really love having fun, but you could be so emotional about it and make it not fun, honestly, because it's so deep for you, and it's such a important aspect in your life in terms of how you get your emotional security. Again, fun is lighthearted, you know. It shouldn't bring up a lot of, you know, past memories and heavy things that could have been sad, and things that connect on that deep type of level, you know. So you could just be careful with that with the moon in the 5th house. But, you know, yeah, that's, you know, moon in the 5th house, you know, it's a very interesting combination, because like I said, the 5th house is ruled by Leo, okay? So it's ruled by the sun. This is about the day. So the moon is the opposite of the sun, you know? So this is like taking your intimacy and putting it out there, and at times it could be exploitive, or it could be too deep for the lighthearted experience. But regardless, moon in the 5th house people are really fun people. These people naturally have it in their souls to be energetic, to be entertaining. They come from families like that. They're going to want kids like that. They're going to want to raise their kids with fun. And, you know, this is, you know, having fun and leisure in your soul. So regardless if it's comfortable or not, you know, these people are fun and expressive and confident, you know, to the soul, to the heart. So that is moon in the 5th house. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you did, please book a reading with me. I do astro readings as well as tarot. And also check out my music on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube and Apple Music. You know, I have all the links in the description box below. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.
Your interior, oh, you kill me. That's on you, sir. Your self-hate gonna wait in the future. You're not wrong, life. You're just a moocher, and you're mad, 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 'cause you know